The city doesn't sleep. Under the streetlights, shadows stretch long, hiding secrets that could explode at any moment. The beat of the night is heavy, every corner filled with whispers of betrayal, ambition, and blood. This isn't just another season. This is where power gets tested, and only the strongest survive. Chicago burns quietly beneath its own silence. The skyline stands tall, but the streets below are restless, filled with smoke, greed, and the heavy footsteps of men chasing empires. The camera moves facelessly through alleys and abandoned warehouses, across neon-lit blocks, capturing nothing but the pulse of a city on edge. The sounds of sirens fade into the background, replaced by a low, pounding bass, like a heart racing, too fast, too heavy, warning us that something dark is coming. We hear the first words, the narrator's voice, low and sharp. In this city, power isn't given. It's taken. The screen cuts to black. Then flashes of light slice through, guns loading, doors slamming, headlights cutting across the night. The faceless edit makes every figure a silhouette, every move a mystery. What matters isn't who they are. It's what they're about to do. The streets whisper Tommy's name. He's the storm in the middle of Chicago, a man who has cut down everyone in his path and is still hungry for more. But power attracts enemies, and enemies never sleep. We see stacks of cash tumbling, flames rising, the edge of a knife gleaming under a streetlight. A faceless hand clutches the wheel of a speeding car, the city blurring past as if time itself is running out. Every decision has a cost, the narrator continues, his voice echoing over the images. Every move takes you closer to the crown, or closer to the grave. The rhythm picks up. The bass turns into a ticking sound like a clock counting down. Shots overlap. A faceless figure gripping a gun, another shadow throwing fists. Blood dripping onto concrete, a phone lighting up with a single word, now. These are not random moments. They are signals, hints of the chaos about to unfold. The faceless video doesn't need expressions. The power lies in the movement, the slam of a trunk, the snap of a lock, the echo of footsteps on empty streets. It creates a question in the viewer's mind. Who can you trust when everyone is reaching for the throne? The section closes with one final flash. A faceless man standing on the edge of a rooftop, overlooking the city. The skyline glows behind him like a battlefield waiting for its first strike. The narrator drops the line that sets the stage for everything to come. This is Chicago. And in Chicago, power doesn't last forever. The screen fades to black. The heartbeat sound stops. For a moment, there is silence. Then, with a crash of bass, bold words burn onto the screen. Power Book IV. Force Season 3. Asterisk, the night deepens, and the sound changes. The heartbeat turns into a ticking clock, slow at first, then faster as if time itself is running out. The faceless camera slides through dimly lit rooms where deals are whispered in shadows. Cash passes from hand to hand, and weapons rest quietly on tables like promises waiting to be kept. Every shot feels heavier than the last. This isn't just survival anymore. It's war. The narrator's voice cuts in, calm but dangerous. Power doesn't sleep. Power doesn't forgive. And power always finds someone willing to die for it. On screen, we see Tommy's presence without ever showing his face. A shadowed figure steps out of a car. The slam of the door echoes through the night. Another faceless figure leans against a brick wall. Smoke curling from a cigarette, eyes invisible but tension clear in the way the shoulders tighten. Chicago breathes like a beast, restless, hungry, ready to swallow anyone who makes the wrong move. Loyalty begins to fracture. The screen flashes between images, two silhouettes shaking hands in a dark alley, the gleam of a knife tucked away in a jacket, a shadow slipping into the back of a club. The narrator pushes the tension higher. When money stacks up, loyalty breaks down. When the streets call, someone always answers. Even if it's your own brother, the ticking grows louder, faster. A faceless figure pulls open a briefcase filled with cash. Another sets down a loaded gun. Across the city, someone runs through the night, chased by headlights. Tires screech. A door bursts open. We don't see faces. We don't need to. Every move tells a story. Fear, betrayal, ambition. The sound of a phone buzzing cuts through the tension. A faceless hand picks it up. On the glowing screen, one word, trust? The voiceover drops lower. In this game, trust is the deadliest weapon of all. Suddenly, the images quicken, a gunshot echoing in a narrow hallway. Stacks of bills flying across a table, a faceless figure thrown against a wall, glass shattering and blood spilling onto the floor. The music rises, bass thundering, every cut sharper than the last. The city looks like it's breaking apart, one street at a time, and yet, in the middle of it all, Tommy's shadow looms larger. His presence commands the screen without a face. Every rival, every ally, every traitor, they circle around his storm. The narrator whispers, "Everyone wants the crown." But only one man has the stomach to keep it. The clock stops ticking. Silence. A single gun clicks as it's cocked back. The faceless figure steps into the glow of a streetlight, shoulders squared, ready for the fight that's coming. The section closes with one last line, hanging in the dark like a warning. This season, every move costs more than blood. It costs your soul. The screen cuts to black. The sound of a heartbeat returns, louder, faster, relentless, asterisk. The streets don't wait for peace. They shift, they break, and they bleed until someone claims control. Chicago is no different, a battlefield carved from alleys, high-rises, and cold concrete. And tonight the balance tilts, the bass rumbles like thunder. A faceless figure slams a fist on a table. Maps spread out under dim light, covered in lines, arrows, and names scribbled in red. The narrator's voice is sharper now, urgent. New players step in. Old enemies rise again, and the game changes. Forever, on screen, faceless silhouettes gather in a warehouse. The camera doesn't reveal faces, just the tension in every movement, hands gripping chairs, bodies leaning forward, deals being whispered like threats. A single handshake seals something dangerous, not peace, but a pact born out of desperation. Then the city erupts. The music spikes, gunfire explodes across the screen. A faceless driver slams down the accelerator, tires screaming on wet asphalt. The camera cuts, a door kicked open, shadows rushing in, bullets flashing like lightning in the dark. Every image feels like a war unfolding in real time. The narrator continues, voice heavy with promise. This isn't business anymore. This is survival. And survival doesn't play fair. The faceless edits move fast now. One shadow pulls a gun under neon lights. Another figure drops a briefcase onto a club floor, cash spilling everywhere as chaos breaks out. In another corner of the city, someone presses a detonator and a fiery blast lights up the skyline. The war has started and there's no turning back. The tension isn't only in the violence. It's in the silence that follows. A faceless figure walks alone down a hallway, the sound of footsteps echoing like a drum. The narrator whispers, power shifts in silence, in betrayal, in the choices made when no one is watching. The camera flashes, a faceless figure dragging another across the floor. Blood on shattered glass. A child's toy left abandoned on a sidewalk, sirens wailing in the distance. A faceless hand signing a deal on paper, sealing a fate no one can escape. The city feels colder now. Chicago itself becomes a character, unforgiving, relentless, ready to crown a new ruler or destroy everyone who dares to fight. The bass grows heavier, mixed with the sound of chains rattling, as if the city is both prison and kingdom, then silence. The music cuts. The only sound is breathing. A faceless man loads a single bullet into a gun. The camera lingers on his hands, slow, deliberate. Steady. The narrator delivers the line that defines the moment. Every empire falls. Every king bleeds. And every throne must be taken. Suddenly, the beat crashes back, harder than before. Quick cuts slice through the darkness. A faceless woman gripping a knife. A car exploding in flames. Money burning to ash. A lone figure standing in the rain, unmoved, unbroken. The section ends with a rooftop shot. A faceless man looks out at the skyline, smoke rising from the city below. Behind him, chaos burns. Ahead of him, the future waits. The narrator's final words hang heavy. The city belongs to no one. Until someone takes it all, the screen fades to black. Silence again. Then, faintly, The sound of a clock ticking, faster, sharper, pulling us toward the endgame. Asterisk. The sound of the ticking clock grows faster, sharper until it feels unbearable, and then it stops. Silence. The screen is black. For a few seconds, nothing moves. Then one voice cuts through the silence, low and cold. Power comes with a price. The bass slams back in. The city ignites. Faceless figures move in chaos. A door slams shut, chains rattle, a gun fires in slow motion, the flash lighting up the dark. Every cut feels like the final breath before war consumes everything. The narrator's voice carries the weight of prophecy. Every choice you make takes you closer to the crown, or closer to the grave. On screen, the visuals hit harder than ever. A faceless driver grips the steering wheel as bullets tear through the windshield. Another shadowed figure stumbles into an alley, clutching their side as blood stains their shirt. Across the city, someone throws down a burning stack of money, fire eating through bills like hunger eating through souls. The chaos slows for a moment. The music drops to a deep hum. A faceless figure kneels, holding a gun steady, the barrel shaking under the weight of the choice about to be made. The narrator whispers, "In this city, loyalty is tested, and betrayal never dies quietly." Suddenly, explosions of sound, gunfire, sirens, screams muffled by music pounding like war drums. The faceless edits hit rapid fire, a figure breaking a glass bottle in a bar fight. Headlights exploding through the rain as cars crash. A shadow standing in front of a burning warehouse, unmoved. A knife glinting under flickering light before it disappears into darkness. The screen flashes text in bold. New alliances, new enemies, new rules. The pace slows again. A faceless figure stands on a rooftop, the city skyline burning in the background. The voiceover returns, heavy with finality. Not everyone makes it out alive. Not everyone deserves to. The camera tilts down. On the ground below, two faceless silhouettes face each other, guns raised, fingers tightening on the triggers. The bass fades, leaving only the sound of rain hitting concrete. For a moment, time itself freezes. The narrator delivers the final dagger. The question isn't who will rise. The question is, who will survive? The screen cuts to black. The words burn onto the screen in blood-red letters. Powerbook IV, 4 Season 3. A final bass crash shakes the silence, then fades into a slow heartbeat. The last words appear. Coming soon. The screen stays black. The heartbeat grows louder, echoing, faster and faster, until it stops with a single gunshot echoing in the dark. Silence. The teaser ends.